I feel kind of dumb asking this question after a Saturday game against Kentucky that was pretty brutal. But is Tennessee's basketball team tournament ready, yay or nay, Caleb Calhoun?
Yes, they're absolutely ready. They're absolutely tournament ready. Now, I don't want to say tournament ready, which is to say, like, if they played a game today, they'd be ready to go. Okay, I think they need a little bit of time to just mentally recover. It was such a grind towards the end of the season. But I think they're tournament ready. I think the most important thing for them is to, this is very, very, very controversial. I'll split the baby with Ron Slay, who we talked to on Friday. I won't say rest your starters, but I will say give very minimal effort in the SEC tournament. Treat it like preseason basketball. Is that fair? Where you just try to stay in rhythm?
Yeah, but I don't think you can really do that, Caleb. I don't think that a competitor's mind is made like that. I think you saw one of those Jerry Green teams that they took the SEC tournament about as serious as a banana peel on the highway. And what happened in the NCAA tournament? I mean, there's something to while the
but wait, Bobby Knight has 5 national.
While the SEC tournament is not important, it is a simulation of the NCAA tournament in the logistical things that you go through.
Yes, but then there's Bobby Knight, who openly talked about never caring about conference tournaments, just not even giving it his all at all. And he's got 5 national titles, or he had 5 national titles at Indiana. So I don't think that's Jerry Green's team. I don't think they were not competitively ready for the NCAA tournament. I think Jerry Green didn't bother to do any scouting reports on who they were playing in the NCAA tournament.
So you just don't do scouting reports, and that sends the message to your team. Probably would do so. I think they're tournament ready. I think they needed a break. You have to look at the run that they've been on for those last 4 games to go 3-1. If I would have told you before Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, A&M, right? Yes.
Yep.
If I would have told you that they would be 3-1 after that, wouldn't you have taken that at the time?
Not only 3-1, winning the first 3 to clinch the outright regular season title before even playing their final game. By the way, it was Alabama, not A&M. They did play A&M though before that whole stretch. So Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Alabama. But yeah, 3-1 and clinching the outright SEC regular season title. No one's going to complain about that. I think they're totally fine. I think that they just, I'll say this. You're right. Where the competitive drive comes in, and you saw this on Saturday, what I'm saying they should do for the SEC tournament, I think they did for Kentucky, honestly, until the last minute.
Caleb, I've asked you before who the most important player on this team is, haven't I?
You have.
And you said who?
Jonas Adu.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the player you're most concerned about in 30 seconds.
F-150 4x4 Super Cab, $44,992. A 2023 Ford Escape all-wheel drive, $30,952. 2023 F-150 4x4 Super Crew XLT, $54,900. Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership.
It's Vescovi. I think the biggest concern with Vescovi, I think it's almost fine if he just disappears, because he did so against Kentucky. He didn't score a point on senior night, and they almost overcame a terrible showing to win. I think what the biggest concern is Vescovi with his confidence, guys. What if he has to hit a shot late to keep the Vols from getting eliminated? That is my biggest concern, that moment happens, that Dalton drives down and he can't find anybody, and he kicks it out 3, and Vescovi has a wide open look 2. He has time to get it off. Defense, it's okay. 1, ball in the air. I don't know that he has the confidence to make that shot.
Dave, do you believe in the law of averages?
Are you going to say he's due?
What if he just wasted his really, really, really horrible shooting nights on the last 2 games? Got him out of the way.
I don't believe in due. Like, that's a baseball term. Like, he's due. He's, 0 for 21. He's due. I don't believe in that. I do believe it to some extent in some sports, but not at all in basketball. He's pulling the string, Caleb. I mean, he's not handing the cookie jar when your hand's over. He's pulling the string when he shoots. And
but it just takes 1 3 to get you out of it.
Not at this point. When's the last time he's had a great game, Caleb?
He played well against Vanderbilt back in middle of February. He went 4 of 6, 4 of 5 from 3.
We're in the middle of March.
I'm just saying, and he was always Vescovi's role. We're forgetting what his role. Now, let's be fair. Vescovi, part of his where you're seeing less of him, part of this was by design. He was designed to take on a much lesser role this year than he has in years past. Is that fair to say? Because Dalton connects on the team, and so
yeah,
he was.
So is he upset about that? Maybe.
No, he's accepted it well. I mean, these last 2 games are anomalies from actually how he played down the stretch. You got to remember, he went 2 of 5 from 3 against Alabama. He went 2 of 4 from 3 against Texas A&M, 4 of 5 against Vanderbilt. And this is what we're talking about. Vescovi doesn't have to go off. What he needs to do is just what you talked about. Those 2 or 3 times he's open, he's got to hit. And that's all he's really asked to do in a game now. And I still think he's capable of doing that.
Wait, so you're telling me my whole college career and my confidence isn't great depends on just 2 or 3 moments?
I'm
supposed to respond to that? I mean, come on, Caleb. Listen, if he has to shoot a key 3 at the end, I love the guy. I hope I'm dead wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I think there's a really good chance that it's a miss.
But if it's about his confidence, how do you explain him a week earlier at Alabama going 2 of 5 from 3? Exactly what he was needed to do.
Well, I mean, 2 of 5 of 3 is grand. I mean, he hit.
That's 40%.
Well, I know he is, but okay. I think you've got what is he for the season? Look that up. I mean, that's
on the season he's 34%. His 3-point numbers have dropped, but what I'm saying is he's gotten more efficient from 3 over the past, I'd say, month. We're forgetting how really bad of a stretch he did have. And
so he's coming out of maybe his funk. It's March.
I think the last 2 games were anomalies. I don't think that's going to be as common in the SEC and NCAA tournaments. I don't. And maybe the long layoff, by the way, will help him. Maybe it could hurt him. You're right. If he's dealing with some mental issues, the long layoff could hurt you because you got to fester on it more. Or if you're already down in the drain because of that, maybe it's his time to get right. I will agree with you with this. Let me step back. It is a concern. It is Tennessee's biggest concern. I agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Caleb, you just went. I'm the devil. Yeah, devil's advocate. You just changed your mind completely.
No, hold on. It is a concern, but I don't think it's a concern that can't be. I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility that this concern gets fixed pretty quickly. I think it's very possible that game was an anomaly on Saturday more than anything else.
Okay, I think you're being overly optimistic. I think you're being overly optimistic for a guy that just seems to be in a funk the whole season. What was his 3-point percentage last year and 3-point percentage this year? If you could look that up.
So his 3-point percentage is more just average this year because he's shooting 34% from 3. He was 37% from 3 last year. He was 40% in 2021-22. So he has regressed each year. In 2021-22, he was Tennessee's best player, funny enough.
It's not a good fit for the offense that they're running. I mean,
that's probably it. But he does a lot of other things too.
He does do a lot of other things. And I don't want to be that guy that says because you can't score, you can't play. He does a lot of other things, but unless you get him open, he's not getting open. Unless you're running picks on the perimeter, he's not getting open. So I think that is your major concern right now. You can't do anything drastically different with this offense because it's Dalton Central. This is the DK offense, and it ain't changing. Rick Terry Jewelry Design. They want to be your jeweler looking for affordable game day jewelry. How about the fire opals? That's a Tennessee tradition. RickTerryJewelry.com. RickTerryJewelry.com. But all that being said, I would still take Connect and this team, perhaps with a wounded Vescovi mindset, as opposed to what Tennessee had last year, wouldn't you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is the first time they've ever had a go-to scorer, but not just that, because I keep saying he's their most one. They got a go-to scorer in Connect. They have Zakai Ziegler back, and we're seeing how much he was missed in the NCAA tournament last year now, given what he's doing. And then also, and this is a really underrated point, Jonas Aid. The reason I say he's the most important player on the team, his development, Dave. has been the story of the year. I mean, Rick Barnes kept telling us all off season that this guy is going to could turn into a star. His development reminds me, and here's a great name I want to bring up for you. He reminds me of Wayne Chisholm with his development. Remember Wayne Chisholm, the 4-year guy, like the 4-year guy under Bruce that just got better every year as a reliable center.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jonas Aidoo is that, but unlike Wayne Chisholm, Jonas Aidoo has real NBA potential.
Can see that. Listen, I'm not going to complain. You got Dalton Connect on the team. I'm just going to tell you, if Vescovi has to shoot the last shot, that's a concern. Travis says they decided to let DK do his thing and beat the rest of the team. Do you think we talked about that before. Do you think that was at all the mindset from the Vols? Is that a concern? You kind of addressed it earlier, but just yes or no quickly. You're not too concerned about leaning on Connect too much?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about leaning on Connect too much. Again, Zakai had 17 points. Aidoo had 11. James had 8. If you want to say anything, and I might say this, and I say this team goes as Aidoo goes, Aidoo maybe should have had 15 to 20 points instead of just 11 in this one. You know, Kentucky played a lot of small ball. Aidoo should have really been an unstoppable force under the basket, and he was just his regular, efficient self under the basket. And so I would say, so rather than 11, you should have gotten a few more shots from him out of that. But yeah, outside of that, I think it was just the perimeter defense. I think they were tiring Kentucky shot hot. I think it's that easy or that simple.